We're on and it's working today, yes.
For the first time we've gone this way.
We are horizontal instead of vertical. That's a win for the good guys.
So we're just going to wait until a few people pop online.
Yeah.
But we have to thank you all for being active within this group. It is really important that you are actually tuning into these sessions because they have so much information on them.
We try to give as much value as we can with this as a group, and I like Em, when she first mentioned it, she wanted to create this community, just us all together supporting one another. I thought it was a fantastic idea, and since then, watching it grow, watching how all our clients, all of you are interactive within the group is so good. And what I love most is that when new clients come on board or people are having troubles and they ask a question, which is what we encourage, there's no silly questions. Our older clients have been with us for a while, get in there and beat us to answering the questions. And I love that because this isn't just about doing a quick challenge. It isn't about doing a fad diet to drop some weight. This is about learning. This is about implementing great strategies, great healthy habits into your lifestyle that you can continue whether you choose to leave us or down the track, and living a healthy life and understanding nutrition and its importance. Too often we've seen this huge numbers rising of obesity and like type 2 diabetes, all these health issues that happen from people with lack of knowledge in nutrition down the track. Like if you're starting now and you're making change and you're teaching your partner that, your friends, your family, and setting an example for your kids, like you're only setting yourself up for a longer lifespan and a more enjoyable lifespan.
Exactly. So this is like all about creating those healthy habits that you can continue like day in, day out. I actually talked to a client today about like you need to have your routine so structured that even on your shittest day you feel like that's something that you can manage, because a lot of people go like balls deep into this and do like 1,000 things at once and trying to do like 6 hours of cardio and 17 hours of workouts, and it's not maintainable. So you need to be able to do whatever you can do on a day-to-day basis, like on your shittest day.
Yeah, and remembering that your shit day at the start with us is going to get better and better, and your good days are going to get better and better, because that's why we're here, and we don't expect you to just jump on board with this and like start nailing your calories, nailing your macros, timing your nutrients, bringing your session with like intensity and getting these awesome results. Like it takes time. It's taken us years and years, and
many years.
We're still working on things, and we're teaching you to do what we've done and not to make the mistakes that we have in the past. And the biggest thing is just education and always moving forward. Like, okay, I made a mistake. Next time,
what did we learn from that?
Yeah, what did I learn? Like exactly, like we all make mistakes, so do we. So on them shit days, you're gonna deal with them better and better and continually grow.
Exactly, it's that WHOOP technique that we've talked about. So planning with obstacles in mind, and that's what I usually do. Like with our week, we always have shit come up, and if we were to think it was going to be like a sweet, calm week, then we would be like very disappointed at the end of each week. And I do get a lot of new clients being like, oh, it was a crap week because I didn't hit my macros like perfectly. I'm like, well, that's a good week still. Like you still were able to hit your calories, so that's perfect.
There's still wins, and we look at that. We'll focus more on the positives. We might quickly analyze or reflect like, okay, what went wrong, why, and look at that. But most of the time, like I have it too with clients, I did this, and I'm like, yeah, but you did these things right. Like that's a win. Before you joined us, you had no idea you were making these mistakes all the time. Now you're getting other things right, and like we try to, when people first come on, we give as much info, and we're like, oh, I just got to give them this and this so they understand what's going on. And at times, like, it's probably a lot. And then remembering that everyone's lifestyle is so different to each other's, and especially ours. So making it all work for your lifestyle, your situation, your environment, and controlling what you can. And them simple changes, even if it's just a few, and you might be like, oh, I can't do this and this and this. But them 3 things that you have changed is way better than what you started. And that's what you got to look at.
Exactly. So we're actually going to, on the days that we ask you not to message us, like Monday and Tuesday, we're doing a lot of planning about how to structure this a little bit better so that when people come on as new clients, they feel a little bit more, ready
Yeah.
for it as each thing instead of feeling very overwhelmed at the start.
So Mondays and Tuesdays, and we say that like respect, and even Sundays. Like Sundays for us are the same as you guys. Like our day to it's pretty much our day to unwind. But bear in mind, we both still work on the Sunday.
We work every
But
day.
Monday and Tuesday is like business structure for us. Obviously, we get new clients on, so we're making sure they're set up, they understand what they're doing, because Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays are chock-a block with like check-ins and getting that done. So Monday, Tuesdays, yeah, is like getting new clients sorted, restructuring programs, program writing. We've got other stuff in the business we're working on for you guys to launch. And also both of us are studying, or we're trying to study. We're fitting that in on a Monday and Tuesday. So that flat out. And like since Em's mentioned it, everyone's been so on board with it. And what I love most is like clients, like if you do message, and it's really important, like definitely message, we will get back to you. It might be straight away, but like we always get back. And all our clients, like you might not understand it from our perspective when we see messages there and we've got so much going on. Like we get a bit anxious because I'm like, I don't want that person waiting and holding on too long. But every one of you guys, like we never had anyone go, are you there? Hey, I answered my question. And we're so thankful for that, because everyone's respect. Whenever we ask you guys, respect us and give us the time. Like most of the time, the pressure is us that we put on ourselves. Because I see, and it's like, why are you flustered? I'm like, I've got 4 people I've got to get back to. They've been waiting. Like I've been sorting stuff out in my house. I've had dramas in the house.
But that's okay.
But we are so respectful, so thankful for you guys being patient.
And I guess we don't say that enough, like how appreciative we are to have such an amazing group of clients on that are hardworking, and you're all becoming very self-aware, and I love that within like your check-ins and things like that. It's really good to see. But we'll get Rebecca on. We'll have a chat next week. So Matt's gonna do more of a chat next week on training, supplementation. Yeah,
timing and nutrients. I definitely want to touch on training, like train intensity, progressive overload and stuff like that. That might interest more the males and that, and definitely like females as well. It's very important. But that'll be on next week. But just saying that, also, saying that at the moment from you guys, and the feedback and interaction as well. Like another thing, I said to him tonight, I'm like, well, we want to thank you guys, because the community you've created and the support you give us on Instagram and that, we respect a lot.
Exactly. So it all comes down to you guys. We're nothing without our clients. Hey, girl. So
hi.
Rebecca is on now, and she is going to take away the show because we're a bit tired this afternoon.
Well, that's all good. I'm going well today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Primed up, ready to go.
Yeah, that's it. Exciting, with heaps of information to share. So I don't know, where did you guys want to start?
I think, did anyone in this group watching right now have any more questions on PCOS, or
let's
touch on that again? I think more of the management and how they can better their diet and training to suit their situation.
Yeah, so obviously with polycystic ovaries, again, you want to try and make sure that that is exactly what you've got, because just because you've been and had an ultrasound and your ovaries show that you have cysts doesn't mean you actually have polycystic ovaries, okay? I think I said last time it can be your ovaries are very dynamic, and it can be just a natural finding. I think it was in the research showed maybe that 25% of healthy women actually have follicles on their ovaries. It's just a normal thing that can happen. Yeah, that's it. It's quite common. It might just be you didn't ovulate that month. You didn't get a dominant follicle, so all of the follicles kept evolving, which shows up as that month having lots of follicles, and that's where they get the many cysts or polycystic ovaries. So it doesn't necessarily mean you've got it. So you want to have polycystic is just a group of symptoms. So, having the high androgen. So have you had your free testosterone tested? And also, do you have other things like facial hair, acne, other androgen signs? As well, which type do you have? So is it insulin polycystic? Have you had your fasted test for insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
Yep. If that's ruled out, then so glucose and insulin are slightly different, Matt.
Okay.
So
Yep.
so your insulin sensitivity will actually show up before possibly glucose test. So if you go to the doctor and you're pre-diabetic, you'll get that the insulin will show before your glucose does. And even there's the HB1A gene that they get tested now as well. Again, that's like different. That'll show up for glucose, but not possibly for the insulin sensitivity. So it's important to get the insulin done. Next, you've got, when was the last time you were on the pill? Because obviously that's going to have an effect. After you come off the pill, you may get surges in androgens, which will then cause you to again get the signs and symptoms. And everybody is different. Some women's cycles will go straight back into how they were before they were off the pill. Other women can take up to 2 years for their brain and their ovaries to reconnect. Okay, because again, I think I might have mentioned last week, what the pill does is it shuts off your hormones. I think I read somewhere it's like Lara Briden described it as being castrated. I was like, oh, that's pretty full on. If you told a man, take this pill, it'll castrate you, would you do it?
Wouldn't be many of us signing up for it.
Well, exactly. And that's what's happening. The pill is basically shutting off your own natural, so it shuts down your ovaries. So there is no communication between your brain and your ovaries. Your ovaries do not produce the estrogen. And then you get this synthetic drug put into your system. So again, you've got to weigh up the pros and cons, but it can take a long time for your brain and ovaries to start communicating and working again, and everybody's different. The next one is the inflammatory type of PCOS. This is where you might have other signs and symptoms like headaches, joint pain, IBS, skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. So if you've ruled out the other two and you've got those other signs and symptoms, then yes, you've got inflammatory PCOS, and it's really important to get your digestion sorted out, to remove all your inflammatory foods. So there's a lot of research around cow's dairy. Cow's dairy contains the A1 protein, which can be quite inflammatory and lead to a lot of period problems. So you've got your cow's dairy, you've got your wheat, and sometimes the protein gluten that can be inflammatory. And then there are some people that are intolerant or get reactions with histamine. Histamine are found in foods like your egg whites. So again, possibly if this was the type of PCOS that you've got, seeking out a naturopath that can help you with working out which foods are inflammatory for you. Then you've got your last one, which is your adrenal PCOS. And this will be linked to when you get a blood test, you'll have high DHEAS. And that's a type of androgen that's released by your adrenal glands. And it can be caused by high stress. So our adrenal glands are our stress glands, which I was going to talk a little bit about tonight, because again, stress, poor sleep, and chronic inflammation, I think, are linked to a lot of period abnormalities, because it's affecting what they call our HPA axis. That's the axis between your brain, so you've got your hypothalamus, which is in your brain, which sends signals to your pituitary, which is in your brain, which then sends signals to your adrenal glands. But on that same axis, we've got our ovaries as well. So if we're highly stressed and we're producing too much cortisol, then that's going to basically have an impact long term on how our body is functioning, even with endometriosis. So that's polycystic. So I think it's really important to exactly find out which type you are. Obviously, adapting inflammations are going to affect everything, because it affects all our signals within our body and how our body communicates. So reducing your inflammation in your body, which can be Oh gosh, you could do a whole overhaul. So, inflammation can be caused from lots and lots of things, from makeup. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys talked about to your clients about the chemicals in makeup and plastics and hormone
No.
disrupting things? So all your what you call them, like xenoestrogens or fake
Oh, there you go.
estrogens. Yeah, good one, Matt.
Yeah, I know that
He's
one,
on
especially
it.
from the plastics. Yeah.
Yeah, BPA. So,
Yeah.
especially with food prepping, your food prep, you'll put them in plastic containers. You put your plastic container in the microwave, and while it's in the microwave, it's releasing all these chemicals and toxins into your food, which then it's not going to be great for you. So, you may want to go through your whole house and remove all your detergents and soaps and cleaning products, and really try and go all natural so that you're reducing the amount of, I suppose, toxic load, which then your liver has to then your liver has to detoxify and get rid of. So what else? Anti-inflammatory foods. So a lot of veggies, fruit and veggies are amazing. Yeah. If in doubt, go for whole foods. Yeah. Do you tell your clients that a lot?
Whole
Absolutely,
foods.
yeah.
Whole foods. Yeah.
Whole
If
foods.
that's it. If it's got a label on it, it's probably not a food. Yeah. So, looking at getting like your veggies in, 10 veggies a day. Fruit, I know there was a time that I used to be really like anti-fruit because I was considered having like fructose intolerance and on FODMAP, but now I've gone back to quite a lot of citrus fruit is really good. It's a good type of sugar, and actually supports our adrenal glands. So if you are highly stressed, going for a bit of fruit rather than a Mars bar is going to be amazing for you. And it'll give you a quick little pick you up, and away you go again. What else? Other anti-inflammatory things are going to be some supplements. You could look at magnesium and zinc. They're both natural anti-inflammatory supplements.
Turmeric?
Yeah, turmeric is, yep, or the curcumin, which is the active ingredient in, turmeric. And what else? Polycystic exercise. I think I mentioned this last time, but if you are having problems with your insulin, doing weight training will actually help with glucose getting into your muscles. So it passively goes in and you don't need insulin. So you're going to improve your insulin sensitivity. So weight training is awesome. Yeah. And you would have all your clients doing that anyway, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's good. What else? Drinking water. However, making sure that your water is a good quality water. So generally I tell most people to drink filtered water, just so you're taking out, again, a lot of the chemicals, hormones and things that are found in our water. You can get good filter. I think it's like an 0.5 filtration system. The one that got recommended to me was Alkaway filtration. That does a good job of getting out your fluoride.
We
and
just bought
chloride.
a ceramic filter.
And
Oh,
just
yeah.
bought one this week.
Yeah, good
It just
one.
like sits on your what's it called, kitchen table thing.
Yeah,
Bench.
definitely. We got one that goes under the sink, and it just
Connects
goes
to the
through.
water, yeah.
Yeah, correct. But you can get lots of different types, but you just want to make sure that it's filtrating the fluoride and other nasties in your, I think, like I said, 0.5 filtration system mainly will clear out all the everything, and put it in a glass bottle rather than a plastic bottle.
Yeah, I was like, whoops.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not too bad if it's not getting heated up. So if you leave your plastic bottle in the car and then it gets heated up, then that may be a problem. So good water, good sleep. Sleep is another thing that's really important. And if your hormones are not very balanced, then this you may get disrupted a little bit. So again, trying things like Unwinding before you go to bed, maybe through meditation, a warm shower, doing like a body scan. Have you guys done body scans before?
No,
They could be
we
good
haven't.
they can be good just for unwinding and getting your mind off the day that you've had as well. Looking maybe at supplementation. Magnesium again is kind of like awesome at everything because it will relax your muscles. It's anti-inflammatory, helps with stress. You want to make sure if you're taking it before you go to bed, a glycinate form, because that will get absorbed the most readily. If you're having problems with falling asleep, then tart cherry juice can be an awesome way of increasing your own natural melatonin levels and helping you get to sleep. As well, if too you're getting achy joints and things like that, the tart cherry juice can be good. If you're having more problems staying asleep, then like have a natural kind of, valerian root can be again quite good for that. After you've ovulated, did we talk about ovulation?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much the whole that's the whole thing of our menstrual cycle, I suppose. Of you want to ovulate, that's really important. And when you do ovulate, you get this temporary gland called your corpus luteum, which will then produce progesterone. Yeah, and your body temperature will go up a little bit. So again, you may find it a little bit more difficult to sleep if your bedroom's quite hot. Sleep as well, caffeine can come into it. So everyone metabolizes caffeine differently. Some people, because of their genes, they metabolize caffeine really quickly. If you're like me, I don't. I actually don't really drink coffee now. But if I do, I have to have it before 12 because I'm a slow metabolizer of coffee and I will not sleep very well. So my sleep will be more disturbed. So again, take track of even like your teas, because teas do have caffeine in them, green tea, black tea, and maybe swap to say, your rooibos tea or herbal teas. And you get some teas which again have got valerian root in them, which will again help you maybe sleep a little bit better. And then I think we spoke about, so reducing your stress, getting good sleep, and reducing your inflammation. They're probably like the three, and exercise and water for polycystic. They're probably your
Big ones, yeah.
Hot tips, yeah.
And there's such like general stuff as well. It's like stuff that we always recommend, so it just goes to show, like it goes down to the client application to those things. And that's the biggest thing, because it's like usually like these clients that love going out on the weekend and having lots of drinks and it's full of sugar, and then they, so a lot of these things is like changing your lifestyle and the things that you do and
directly related to nutrition. And, as we touched on before, exercising, introducing if you're not exercising. And there's a good one about the plastics and that. I'm glad we touched on that.
Yeah. Speaking about alcohol as well. So your estrogen gets metabolized in your liver. So estrogen goes to the liver, it gets conjugated, it then goes into your bowel to get excreted. So there's a two-phase process. If you're drinking alcohol, your liver is getting used to detoxify and break down the alcohol rather than the estrogen. So again, your liver may not be detoxifying estrogen very well because your liver is being used up for other things. Yeah. So alcohol, I find, is a big one. Having a glass of alcohol every night is probably, I used to do that. And I really think that that's one of the biggest things that's made a massive difference for me. Freeing up my liver and making my liver work better. The other weird thing I do as well is I don't drink coffee anymore, but I do coffee enemas. Have you heard of them?
Oh. I've heard of them.
She's like,
yes.
So, coffee is actually really good for the liver. It helps it to function better. And the bowels are very highly vascular and go straight to the liver. So by putting coffee up your bum. Matt's like, yeah. And as well, how many times do, people go to the toilet? I know I used to go through a period of being really, really constipated, especially leading up to my period. I'd get constipated, then I'd get maybe diarrhea, and then I'd be constipated again because, again, my body wasn't coping very well with, obviously, the fluctuating hormones. Being constipated means that you're not excreting toxins. So toxins are building up in your body, yeah? You might go to the toilet once, but that's not enough, yeah? So by doing a colonic or doing an enema and I'm not saying that you should use them to get your bowels going, but if you've been constipated for 2 or 3 days, then I would highly recommend you get your bowels going and get rid of toxins in your body, yeah? If you're not pooing, then you need to be sweating. So,
one or the other.
or both. So, yeah, that's something else that I've started implementing, and I've, really think that it's made a big difference for me anyway. So, yeah. So that's that. Yeah. Did we want to talk a little bit about endometriosis?
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions about polycystic ovaries?
No,
I
we didn't
can't see
I think it was like on the other one, but you went through and answered them, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm slowly getting through. Yeah. If you girls do have questions, just pop them up. If you leave me in the Facebook group this week, then
you're staying.
Yeah. I'm staying.
Ah,
thanks, my lovely.
Yeah, so like endo is something that I don't know a lot of, like, about.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I kind of know the basics, but not it.
Yeah. So neither did I. I was lucky enough to be diagnosed with endometriosis when this year it finally got diagnosed. Lots of people can go undiagnosed for a long period of time. So basically, it's a condition where you get endometrial tissue in different parts of your body. The most common part is your uterus. So you've got your vagina, then you've got your cervix is at the entrance of the vagina, and then you've got your uterus, yeah? And every month, basically, the hormones are laying down your uterine lining for implantation of the egg. If you don't get implantation of the egg, that lining sheds. So what happens every month is wherever that tissue is found, it sheds as well. So you're getting these pockets of blood which turn into scarring and scar tissue, yeah? So the most common parts, like I said, are your uterus and your ovaries. So I actually had what they call a chocolate cyst, the size of a tennis ball on my right ovary.
Oh.
Yeah. So my first sign was, I was actually having a lot of pain with sex, sharp stabbing pain. And, you're like, oh, it'll go away. And then, you get really bad periods. Now, period pain is normal. A little bit of cramping for the first day. If it's for the first maybe 1 or 2 days, if it's leading up to, it's more like a premenstrual kind of problem. If it's after, then it's an ovulatory problem, which again could be more PCOS. So where you get the pain can make a difference on what's going on. And also too, you should be able to get pain relief with ibuprofen. I was not getting pain relief with ibuprofen, and it was actually impacting my day. So normal period pain, you can go about your day fine. Yeah, you maybe take an ibuprofen and you're fine for the rest of the day. Endometriosis is pretty much, it'll knock you out, and you won't be able to do your normal activities. So you might be bedridden or looking for stronger painkillers, or pretty much out of action. And you might get pain too around ovulation as well. So pain all kind of different times. So like I said, it can be quite hard to diagnose because there's no one real test to diagnose it to say you've got endometriosis. So you'll have to pretty much go to your doctor or your gynecologist. I first initially went and had a normal ultrasound. and they found an abnormal cyst and a few other bits and pieces. Because I actually had a hernia. I was getting hernias. Do you know what hernias are? Where you get these bulges. Your intestines bulging out. So mine were bulging out along my inguinal ligaments. I think just because of the pressure, because I've got this tennis ball in my abdomen. So there was nowhere for everything else to go. So they diagnosed me with a sports hernia and then having this other cyst. So when I came to Melbourne, my gynecologist put me on to a specialist who specialises in doing what they call a dye. It's a deep, I've had a brain blank.
I would help you if I could.
Yeah.
What do they call it? A dye. Oh, a deep infiltrated they're looking for deep infiltrated endometrial tissue. Yeah. And so they can pretty much work out, what's going on and if there is potentially endometrial tissue. From that scan there, I also had a blood test looking for a cancer marker called a CA125. Now, there's been some research to show that women with kind of severe endometriosis, this will be high. Normally, it's anything over 35. I think mine was 114 or 116. So, yeah, you're like, and I was a bit concerned. I'm like, this is a cancer marker. And they're like, no, it's something that they've found is high if you've got endometriosis. So it's nothing to be worried about cancer, but definitely a sign of more severe endometriosis. Then probably the next stage is surgery, so a laparoscopy. This is when they will be able to give you a definite diagnosis, which is really kind of, I suppose, there's no definite diagnosis until you have surgery of potentially what's going on. Yeah, so it's not the best. And I think there's more. They'd say that 1 in 10% of women do have endometriosis, but I would say it would be probably more, because the more people I talk to, the more I kind of find out
it's
that they've
such a
had
common thing. And like I'll have clients even like 6 months down the track after I've done all their stuff, they're like, oh yeah, and I was told I had endo. I was like, perfect. And now I'm being told. Yeah, it's so common, especially like PCOS as well. Like they're both such common things.
That's
Every
it.
second woman has one at the moment.
Yeah, so I mean, and the theories of how they think, the theory of why women get it, they believe that it's like a backflow of menstrual blood. However, I don't know, how can menstrual blood get in your eye? Like, I just don't kind of, people have endometrial tissue in their eye, and so every month their eye would bleed. Like, that's really random, but that's, what
That's
happens
so strange.
or can happen. Yeah, it's really bizarre. So they're kind of thinking that maybe endometrial tissue gets implanted at birth, that it might be like it's a whole body immune system dysfunction, that maybe it's linked to, dioxin exposure in the womb. So if your mum was exposed to chemicals when you're in the womb, then that can I suppose, create cell change, and you end up with endometrial tissue. And it's interesting because, I never really spoke to my mum about her menstrual cycle or what was going on with her. But again, I was like, because I've been going everything, I'm like, Mum, what were your periods like? And she's like, oh yeah, I had to take 3 days off work sometimes. And it's like,
so she probably had it as well.
Yeah, and it's just like, that was like, you get period pain, and you might have to take time off work, and that's normal, but it's not normal. Like, so yeah, I kind of think there is like maybe a genetic predisposition, but yeah, it's crazy. So we've gone through, so some other symptoms you might get, bladder frequency, urgency. I actually had pain every time I went to the toilet. I would get excruciating pain. Bowel problems like diarrhea, constipation. It's highly linked to digestive issues as well. I get a lot of reflux and vomiting. You can get abdominal bloating, nausea, vomiting, headaches. bleeding between periods, and then of course infertility and recurrent miscarriages. So it's basically like a whole body inflammation and immune system problem. So yeah, like I said, if you go to your gynecologist, they'll suggest surgery, which I think is surgery is good. It'll get rid of, if you've got cysts or endometrial tissue, but it's not going to prevent it from coming back. And a lot of women
it grows back pretty quickly, or is it?
Again, I think it depends on it depends on the person, depends on their lifestyle, and depend on what's going on. Yeah. So when you go to the gynecologist, the common treatment that they will say is a Mirena. Mirena is a hormonal IUD that gets inserted into your cervix, which will release a really low dose. It's like I think a 1/8 of a dose of a pill. And it will get released, and it sits in there, and it just basically stops. I've heard a lot of women, my friend in particular was like, it's the best thing I've ever done. I get no more pain. I get no more heavy bleeding. I wish I had it. I wish I had it put in years ago. And yeah, her saying that was like, I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a go. I wasn't really wanting to get anything put in because I'd had bad experiences with the
Birth
pill.
control.
Yeah, with birth control pills. So I was like, but because she had said she had good results, and I've heard other women had good results, and my gynecologist was saying they'd had good results, I gave it a go. But I had side effects. So mood disorders, depression, crying, hating my life, hating myself. So yeah, which is common as well. So again, you just need to listen to your body. The Mirena might not be the right thing for you. So in that case, you need to look at maybe micronized progesterone. That's a prescription that you'll need to get from your doctor, because again, that can help with inhibiting the growth of the endometrial lesions. As well, there are lots of things you can do for your diet and your lifestyle. So that's pretty much. Yeah, but wait, there is a solution.
There's more.
There's more. Yeah. Yeah. So, so again, I think like we were saying with PCOS, there are lots of things that you can do to reduce your toxic load. So you need to look at the liver, you need to look at your guts, you need to look at your adrenal glands, you need to look at your thyroid glands, and it's a whole body or a whole lifestyle
So it's
approach.
pretty similar to like the approach that you would take for a PCOS kind of thing as well. Like the thing that we should be doing anyway in life, like reducing inflammation, reducing simple sugars. Yeah, looking at our environment. Yeah, exactly. Look at your environment. Look at the food that you're consuming. Look at the toxins you might be consuming, like whether you're inhaling them, whether you're putting them in your hair, whether you're putting them, makeup. Look at your pharmaceutical medications as well, because again, everything you put in has to be detoxified by the liver. So and it's such like for, I guess, like an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old that just got diagnosed with endo, like this is a huge thing to be able to change everything that they're doing. They probably just want to be doing what everyone else wants to be doing. And I actually we have a client that has endo, and she has a lot of pain with it. And I see like cakes on her story. I'm like, oh, stop, please, no more sugars. Like, is it a big thing for them with like sugars and simple sugars and carbohydrates? Is that like something that they should be avoiding, reducing?
Look, sugar is an inflammatory. So yes, 80-20 rule, all in moderation. Pretty much. But I would, again, your sugar is probably more for your polycystic PCOS person. But I mean, like, fruits are good sugars. So
not being scared of them. I actually have a question for you, because I was thinking of like for some of our PCOS girls, like I was looking at their meal plans and things like that. So you said like around their training, like high glucose, what's it called, like simple sugars is good, but outside of that, like keep it kind of more of your sweet potatoes and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. If they are worried about sugar spikes, you can actually go to the chemist and you can get a blood pricker. It's a
Glucose monitor.
yeah, a glucose monitor.
Mm.
Yep. So you eat the food, you wait a while, you prick it, and then you see your response to the food you're having. Because everybody's different. So how one person is going to respond to one food might be different to how somebody else does. So yeah. I mean, you listen to your body. If your heart rate goes up, if you feel a little bit more anxious, that might mean that that food didn't really agree with you. So I think if we really get in tune with your body, that's the other side of it. It's, we say toxic environment. What about your toxic thoughts? So there's this whole thing that women with endometriosis are a bit become disconnected to their body, and that they have insecurities. They have thoughts of being disappointed, frustrated, blaming. So again, it's really looking at how you think about your life or how you think about your body, because those thoughts then get turned and stored into your body. So it's definitely a whole body
approach.
mind
I think when
approach.
people come to, especially like our coaching at the start, they're like thinking about just getting a meal plan and training, and they're like, no, it's about like your thoughts and
stress management, sleep, your whole approach to everything.
Yeah.
Because I think if you can nail like stress and sleep, that's like
a win straight away.
Yeah, a win straight away, and everything is so much easier.
Yeah. Definitely.
Steph said, happy to share my experiences of blood sugar tracking and my endo. Best thing I've ever done. I can pinpoint when I'm crashing now. So Steph obviously does her blood glucose monitoring.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I pretty much will only eat simple carbohydrates around training. So I'm very much into nutrient timing. Right, I'm going to exercise. Okay, especially in that luteal phase when you've got higher estrogen and your body doesn't have access to carbohydrates. Yeah, you've only got access to free fatty acids. You're going to feel flat. You will not be able to hit high intensity. You need glucose. Yeah. So definitely having some quick, simple sugars in that luteal phase before you train. You're going to train better. You're going to hit slightly higher intensities. And as well, you're getting the benefits of using your muscles. So you're going to be bringing in the glucose into your muscles. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had actually a good question. Because I was talking to Hattie actually about, because she will move her carbs around different times of the month for her girls usually.
Yeah,
and I've
perfect.
never done that. I've done like consistent everything with me. I'm just boring and simple. But so you think like in the luteal phase, like the last 14 days, you would bring up your fats and your protein, bring your carbs down, or just look at the timing more so?
More so look at the timing.
Yeah,
look at the timing. It's an interesting one. Because everyone responds slightly different. But again, because we are in that second phase, burning more free fuel fatty acids, having or using your citrus fruits, for an example, to help support your adrenal glands. So as we're going back to stress, okay, when you get stressed, your adrenal glands are the glands that get triggered. So fight, flight, collapse, freeze, all that kind of stuff. Your adrenal glands will produce cortisol. Cortisol actually increases your blood sugar, because it's wanting to give your muscles energy to run away. So having those citrus fruits support your adrenal glands and help keep everything a little bit more regulated. So you're already burning free fatty acids and your body's already really good at that. So I suppose it's not really I would probably say it's not so much changing. I would say more nutrient timing.
Okay.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Because
Just moving the carbs around.
Yeah, just moving the carbs around. Like, so if you're
Yeah.
looking at your macros, say you're on 180 carbs, 140 protein, 50 fats, you may keep that, but really be a little bit more specific of where you put those carbohydrates. Yeah, so that you're using them and supporting your adrenals with
With like PCOS girls and endo, I guess both. Would you have your protein and fats higher in those girls and lower carbs, like opposed to someone that doesn't have that condition?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah. That's a difference.
Yeah.
That was the question.
Yeah.
We talked about that the other day. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
usually do, and I've done that just from experience with them, I guess, and
Yeah,
reading what I knew.
definitely.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
then looking then at what they're filling those carbs with as well.
Yeah, definitely. So the one thing as well with females is we actually need carbohydrates to ovulate. So this is where we look at low energy availability. To ovulate, our bodies generally need around about 120 to 130 grams of carbohydrates. And that's just to ovulate and to keep our hormones going. Yeah? That's not including exercise.
Yeah,
So
we need
exercise,
carbs.
correct. Exercise is another stress. Yeah? So that's when if a female goes on keto or low carbohydrate for too long, she'll probably lose her menstrual cycle. Or if you're on low calories for too long, you'll probably lose your menstrual cycle. Yeah?
Yeah.
So women need carbohydrates. Yeah? So you'd probably be wanting to look about Dr. Stacey Sims. She generally recommends for an active female 180 grams of carbohydrate. So
yeah, we don't cheap out on carbs with our girls.
Yeah, perfect. You know, and then you go by how they feel. How are they recovering? You know, because sometimes too, if you're not getting enough carbohydrates, you won't sleep well. Again, it's that disruption. Yeah, stress hormones need to go up. Stress hormones need to come down. Carbohydrates can help them come down.
Perfect.
Yeah. Boom. Boom, boom.
Well,
I think I've said everything.
No, it's been awesome.
We're definitely going to...
just a quick note, is for females to make peace with their period. I think I used to hate it. I used to never cope with it, and it used to be I used to look at it as a curse. And again, when you're looking at that whole healing, that's a part of healing. Like, it's what makes us female. It's what enables us to have a baby if we want to have a baby. It, you know, gives us our superpowers, I think, to adapt with anything. I think we're a bit more adaptable than men, but so, you know, so my naturopath was, you know, she writes in her book, go back to your very first period, go back to those emotions that you had and kind of make peace with them, because that sets you up for the whole thing. And if you haven't been, I didn't really get educated about my period. It was just like,
I think anyone did, to be honest with you.
Like, it just kind of came and I was like, what's going on? It was horrible and I hated it, and it was just, so, you know, make peace with it. It's there for you. Exactly. So,
So Steph had a question that you may answer. It says, I'm a little bit late to the party, but I've been dealing with some breakthrough bleeding, especially around ovulation and after training. I've been doing some research as well as investigating super stress lately. Could imbalanced hormones be causing it? Yes. So
again, your breakthrough, it's just going to be with the drop off of estrogen where you get the breakthrough bleeding. So stress is a biggie.
Huge one.
Yeah.
And I know that because I didn't realize when I'm stressed, like you said last time, it's like, you know, the month later you get, did you say it's like a month later you get like the result of that? It's like
it can be. Yeah.
I think so. Like I'm super stressed all the time with work, but like a good stress.
Yeah.
But I realized like my period is quite out of whack, but it always like it has been because I came off the pill and I was on the bar and I was on it for such a long time. So you know, I can recognize that my stress is probably the cause for my irregular periods. More so than
so again, putting in a stress management plan, having an Epsom salt bath, doing some meditation, or simply doing some nasal diaphragmatic breathing, maybe looking at supplementing with magnesium or like an ashwagandha. Yeah, ashwagandha. Yeah, that's an
I try to
amazing.
spell it like ashwagandha.
Yeah, so that's been shown as to be an adaptogen. Have you guys spoken about adaptogens before? So adaptogens are herbs which basically support our body during times of stress, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. And it's not like a pharmaceutical where it tries to fix the problem. The herb will actually support our body and give it what it needs. So it's
We've
just
been using that for a
encouraging
few
our...
years now.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Perfect. I would recommend ashwagandha before bed because it'll help with sleep, help drop down your cortisol levels. That's another reason why you might not sleep well, because your cortisol levels are still quite high, and they should drop down at night and then peak again in the morning with you being ready to go.
Well, that was a good chat
Yep.
tonight, guys.
Awesome.
We did made it on time, but
Oh, wow.
probably
I just looked at the time then. I'm like, okay.
that was perfect. But thank you so much. This is like a wealth of information that everyone's just
no
gonna
problems.
have some brain explosions from later. But we'll definitely be seeing you around anyway. I'll leave you in the group if the girls want to contact you. I know a few have already. But thank you so much for
my pleasure.
joining us.
Appreciate
Thanks
the
for
wealth of
having
knowledge
me.
you shared with us.
No problems,
Bye-bye.
guys. Anytime. Take care. Have a good night.